We needed those officers out on the street fighting crime. But instead, we have several riding around doing personal errands, all tied to breaking news just dropped by the police department. Shocking details have emerged about Tiffany Henyard. The information now under review by investigators could potentially link her to activities that raise serious red flags. This bombshell revelation is turning heads and triggering crucial questions. Is Henyard really the person she's been portraying to the public? Or is there something much darker hiding behind the scenes? Stay tuned. The investigation is unfolding fast, and it's rocking the village of Dalton to its core. People are even picking up on her vocabulary, mocking how she accuses others of trying to hoodwink and bamboozle her, though she seems to have forgotten the word grandstanding this time. But anyway, as we dig deeper into the latest village meetings, a new wave of concern is bubbling up. The financial crisis Dalton now faces. Sure, they've talked for months about the town's money troubles, but now the reality is hitting. Layoffs are looming. Buildings are up for sale. And let's not forget Henyard's bizarre dream of building a swimming pool. She once said she wanted it so all the black babies could learn how to swim. What she's on, no one knows. She even floated ideas like adding a Segway station alongside the pool. Meanwhile, we're about to hear what Kiana Belshur has to say about the village's plans to sell off certain assets. But behind the scenes, sources have just revealed that the state has officially cut off all funding to Dalton. Why? Growing concerns about possible money laundering. This revelation has triggered a full-blown scandal, and the heat is on. Reports are now suggesting that top officials, including Mayor Tiffany Henyard herself, could be directly involved. Allegations of massive financial mismanagement are rocking the community, shaking public trust to the ground. As a result, state leaders have made it clear no more funds will be released until a full investigation is completed. What does this mean for Dalton's future? How deep does this scandal go? It's been confirmed. The state of Illinois has halted payments to Dalton. Even former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has had to weigh in, admitting she was wrong about the situation earlier. But the bigger point is this. Tiffany Henyard just keeps going as super mayor, some call her, though others say she's just super delusional. If you only follow her public appearances, you'd think she's a successful leader, posting, smiling, managing. But good managers act diligently, responsibly, and they certainly don't put personal interests ahead of collective good. Financial reports are supposed to be one of the key ways the public can transparently see how their resources are handled. But when you're already under fire, under suspicion, and under investigation, those reports start to look a lot more like evidence. Now Henyard is at the center of a major controversy, with serious accusations swirling that she's been using the local police department for personal gain. Reports suggest that instead of focusing on public safety, officers have been diverted to tasks that seem designed solely to benefit Henyard herself. Is she exploiting her power to protect her own interests? The public wants answers, and this explosive revelation could change everything. There are also fresh allegations about misuse of taxpayer money, with spending upwards of $5 million, effectively driving the town's finances straight into the dirt. One key figure is a police officer who was especially close to Henyard, pulling in massive overtime and protection pay. This officer reportedly collected over $200,000 just from Henyard's office. But if he was such a good cop, why was he forcibly removed? Why was he fired? Why was he exposed? In a shocking twist, this very same officer has now reportedly filed for bankruptcy, raising yet another set of questions about the financial stability of Henyard's inner circle. What does it say about her leadership if even her most loyal allies are financially collapsing? Could this be just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to broader financial mismanagement in Dalton? The pressure is mounting. The truth is starting to surface. This officer, once flush with cash, making big overtime money, was allegedly trying to hide his assets. Why? To avoid losing the money he had been gaining. It's almost unbelievable, but it clearly shows the kind of company Henyard was keeping. There's a saying, you are the company you keep. Another one, you are what you eat. We could pull out dozens of old sayings to describe this situation, but here's the bottom line. You can see, clear as day, that this guy was operating corruptly, and I guarantee you, he's not the only one. If Tiffany Henyard is surrounded by this level of mismanagement, by officers and officials mired in questionable dealings, then the village has a much deeper problem. We're watching what could turn into a political and financial implosion. For now, all eyes are on the investigation. The public is watching. The state has drawn a hard line, cutting off Dalton's access to funds. And the village's residents, already grappling with layoffs, cutbacks, and the possible sale of public assets, are left wondering just how far this scandal will go. Will Henyard face accountability? Will Dalton recover? Or are we witnessing the beginning of a long and painful unraveling? Time will tell. But one thing's for sure, the cracks are no longer just rumors. They're out in the open and the clock is ticking. Henry, I'm sure, was fully involved and engaging in all of this as well. What's interesting is that we can now definitely see the tension starting to tighten. The focus is slowly but surely zeroing in on Tiffany Henyard. If investigators are already going after the deputy chief of police, one of Henyard's closest security officers, it's only a matter of time before Henyard herself, and anyone else connected to the money, goes down with them. The shocking bankruptcy of one of Henyard's own officers has ignited a firestorm of questions about how thoroughly Henyard's appointees are being vetted. Could it be that key positions in Dalton's administration are being filled without proper qualifications? What kind of leadership is Dalton really getting under Henyard's watch? And the controversy doesn't stop there. Residents are now beginning to question whether the mayor is truly focused on their safety, or whether she's using city resources purely to protect herself. Reports have surfaced claiming that the very security team designed to safeguard Dalton residents is instead being used to provide personal protection for Henyard. Could this be yet another case of her prioritizing her own interests over those of community? Henyard's time as mayor has been nothing short of a whirlwind of controversy. From accusations of misusing taxpayer money to outrageous acts of self-promotion, she's become one of the most divisive figures in Dalton's history. She's maintained security detail costing taxpayers around $250,000 a year. She's been accused of using public funds to pay for massive billboards plastered with her own face. She even created a 2024 calendar with her birthday prominently highlighted. Is this the kind of leadership Dalton's residents deserve? It doesn't stop there. Henyard, the mayor who controls a staggering $225,000 annual salary, has made it nearly impossible for anyone to challenge her. In a move that can only be described as self-preserving, she's opposed a drastic 90% salary cut for any potential successor, leaving only $25,000 on the table if she's ever unseated. Yet, despite this tactic, more and more residents are rising up, ready to run against her. The backlash is growing, and Dalton's residents are fed up. To make matters worse, reports now suggest that Henyard may have fired Dalton's police chief after he began investigating her actions, particularly the misuse of credit card receipts and other serious financial irregularities. Is the mayor truly above scrutiny? Or is there something darker going on behind the scenes? As pressure mounts, Henyard has defended her actions, insisting that her extensive security measures are legal and justified because of the threats she faces. But with allegations of excessive spending, mismanagement of city funds, and deeply questionable behavior piling up, residents are starting to ask the tough questions. Is the mayor really protecting the people who elected her, or is she just protecting herself? The corruption accusations against Tiffany Henyard just keep stacking up. Now, a shocking new claim has surfaced. Reports say Henyard have been funneling taxpayer dollars into a privately owned cancer awareness charity, a practice that is outright illegal. And this isn't the first time we've heard allegations like this. In fact, the police chief was reportedly investigating similar claims before his sudden and controversial dismissal of the public is outraged. Some are even saying it looks like Henyard is using her position to silence anyone holding her accountable. One Twitter user went public with bold claims, accusing the mayor of overpaying officers to act as her personal security team. This isn't just regular overtime. One officer allegedly made $13,000 in just 2 weeks for more than 300 hours of overtime. That's a massive red flag. No one believes it's possible for someone to work that many hours in that short a time. There's growing suspicion that these numbers were padded, and an investigation into these claims is ongoing. The ex-police chief's attorney is standing firmly behind these allegations, and Henyard's sudden firing of the chief has only deepened the public's mistrust. Was the firing an attempt to cover up the truth? Tiffany Henyard's name is quickly becoming synonymous with corruption. One user tweeted bluntly that she's one of the most corrupt mayors ever, and they just might be right. Henyard is now accused of embezzling hundreds of thousands, if not millions of taxpayer dollars. Dalton is facing a $7 million deficit, and it seems this is only the tip of the iceberg. What's even more troubling is that Henyard's cancer awareness charity was reportedly shut down by the state government after it was revealed she had spent tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on frivolous expenses. For example, she spent $10,000 on a weekend bike trip to Springfield to support a bill that never even got filed. She also reportedly spent another $17,000 on merchandise of charity, merch that most people say served no real purpose. And it gets worse. Her personal security detail, which is already draining taxpayer funds, doesn't just rack up overtime. They often collect triple overtime. One officer reportedly worked 303 hours in just 2 weeks, more than a full-time job, and it's becoming harder to believe these hours are even legitimate. Then there's the infamous Vegas trip. Henyard allegedly flew first class to Las Vegas on the taxpayer's dime, racking up over $8,000 in hotel expenses for reasons she has never explained. What was she even doing in Vegas? No one knows, and Henyard isn't talking. On top of all this, there's an ongoing FBI investigation into a disturbing incident involving her personal assistant. That assistant was allegedly fired after reporting an assault. Yet another dark mark on Henyard's record. And in a stunning twist, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, despite her own controversial past, has reportedly been called in to lead an investigation into Henyard's administration. With corruption claims piling up by the day, it's looking more and more like Henyard's days of escaping accountability may finally be numbered. The truth is coming. It's only a matter of time before the full extent of Tiffany Henyard's actions is exposed.